Cincinnati to Santa Clara, back home with a W. The Bengals take down the Niners in their barn 31-17 behind 400 yards of total offense and a season high allowed by that Niners defense. 31 points here for Cincy. Burrow, spectacular at times, 28 of 32. Had a completion streak, button its head on 20. 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, ran it when he needed to for another 43. As Cincy takes down the entire NFC West, we are only through week 8. Back in studio with Ryan Wilson, Joe Musso here to break this one down. Ryan, this was a big moment for the Cincinnati Bengals, a massive opportunity, and they completely seize it. We'll talk about some of the shortcomings on the 49ers side in just a moment here, but on the positive note, what Joe Burrow and this Cincinnati team has become over this last month and a half, I mean, what has been the calling card, the hallmark of the way they've built to this moment?
Number 9, Joe Burrow. His calf is now 100%, and we saw him today, Joe. This team has struggled to run the ball throughout the season, and he was a catalyst, to use your word, in the run game to get things going. We saw him rip off long runs, get up, fired up, get his teammates fired up, and then he was clinical in the pass game. 28 of 32, had 3 touchdowns, didn't throw an interception. You see one of the touchdowns here, makes it look easy to Tyler Boyd. This looks like vintage Joe Burrow, vintage Bengals offense. After the bye, they're now 18-5 since 2021, and it's not quite Andy Reid off the bye, but it's pretty close. And you have to be extremely excited if you're a Bengals fan or if you're Zach Taylor with how this team has progressed, because again, for the 3rd straight year, Joe Burrow has come to the season with an injury or an appendectomy, and now that he's healthy, this looks like the team we're accustomed to seeing. And oh, by the way, the defense on the other side of the ball is picking things up as well.
Slow to start, but look to be at full speed right now, coming out with this win in Santa Clara. On the 49ers side, Brock Purdy, these last 12 or so quarters have been something to forget. Yes, no Trent Williams on the left side there, no Deebo Samuel in this offense either. So issues on the offensive side, but defensively, giving up 31 points as well. That's 3 straight losses for a team that at times looked infallible throughout this season. Where have you seen the biggest change in the Niners as of late?
Well, looking at the highlight here, or the low light if you're Brock Purdy and the 49ers, the interception is Jermaine Pratt. Came back later and threw an even worse interception in the middle of the wheel to Logan Wilson. And it's these mistakes that we didn't see from Brock Purdy over the first year and a half that are now they're showing themselves every single week, it seems like. And last week, the 2 interceptions in the 4th quarter perhaps came after that concussion. The week before in Cleveland, perhaps the weather had something to do with it. But you can't keep making excuses as you make your way through the schedule when you're supposed to be the best team in the NFL. We haven't seen it. I know we were half joking about it. Will we see Sam Darnold? I don't think so. I think Kyle Shanahan trusts what we have in Brock Purdy, but he has to play better, number 1. And you said this earlier. You said Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel don't play defense. The defense has not showed up the last few weeks either. So that's something else they have to sort out to get back on track. They're still obviously one of the best teams in the NFL, but they have not played like it in recent weeks. Yeah,
Purdy dinged coming in, but cleared that concussion protocol. Still issues in terms of turnovers. Over the last few games, 0-3. 5 interceptions, also put one on the ground late in this game. It was a pivotal interception in the 4th quarter that on the very next play led to a Bengals touchdown that just about put this one out of reach. Extra possessions for Joe Cool, and it's a different Joe Cool owning San Francisco. For more, let's get you back out to the booth where the leading voice of the NFL on CBS joins us. Tony Romo stopping by. Tony, this is a big moment here for the Cincinnati Bengals in their season. Slow burn to start, but that fire burning bright right now. What does this win do for this team at this moment on the road against a team that we know is hopeful to see the highest of heights?
It's one thing, you know, for the Niners to lose on the road the back-to-back weeks, but to come in here and win, that is all the confidence you need to really believe and have that belief inside, you know, the rest of the year. I mean, there's no tougher environment with an opponent, you know, who's got a ton of talent everywhere than this place. And I feel like they were systematic today, and they kind of show people like, hey, we're kind of that team, and you guys keep forgetting. Like every year that people kind of like, okay, they're not really that same team. They're better. You know, in a lot of areas, I feel like their scheme has actually gone up another level. And you guys talked about it coming after the bye. This was a masterclass by Zach Taylor and Brian Callahan on offense, and Lou Anarumo as well on defense, changing up some tendencies. And he does that pretty much each week. But right now, the Niners, to me, they're in that little phase where teams have adjusted to their fullback and the packages in their running game. They got up to such a great start running the football that everything flowed and it makes it easier on the quarterback. But now they're getting these really packed boxes, not like the extra defender down. I mean, literally 5 D linemen are on the field right there saying, we're going to make you throw the football on early downs. And they adjusted later, and then Purdy throws the interception down in the red zone that kind of ended what I thought was their best chance.
Yeah, maybe looks aren't as clean for Purdy right now. He surely isn't processing it the same way he was in that 10-0 start to his unblemished regular season career. You and Jim did a great job on the broadcast pointing out those moments where that's a Debo moment, that's a Trent Williams moment, and those sort of empty spaces for this offense. But talk to me about Purdy and what you're seeing in terms of his personal regression. I mean, it hasn't looked like the guy that we saw earlier on. A couple unforgivable throws here over the last few weeks.
Well, what happens is when the pressure mounts, and I talked about it with our team over here leading into the game, this will be a great test for him, just the mental fortitude and how you handle. He hadn't really lost. I mean, like, he all of a sudden loses a game, and it's like, okay, and then he loses the Vikings, and now that gets ramped up inside of your own brain, like internally, and now you have to come back, but you're at home, and it's okay, but the other team's scoring, and they're keeping the ball in long stretches, so you kind of press, and he has to go through this at some point. No one's going to be unscathed playing quarterback in the NFL over long stretches, and he's just had that now going for, a few weeks, but he's had to bring his team back, and normally he's playing with the lead, and so that tension that it plays on you makes you throw a little earlier. You don't necessarily check it down when you normally would. You look a little longer, and now when you add in Williams being out, you don't have quite as much time. So these things kind of manifest and play on themselves, but he'll be fine. His skill set is there. They're not finding him out. Kyle Shanahan will adjust as good as anybody, so expect them to get on a roll here going forward, but it shows you they can be beaten at home, and that was huge.
Yeah, we did see a couple A++ balls still from Purdy in this game. The defense becomes a question now, too. Maybe not a long-term one, but we've seen them turn over teams and turn over defensive coordinators, for that matter, over the last few years and see no drop-off defensively. 31 points here, 400 yards of total offense. Where is the drop-off right now defensively where we're not seeing that same assertive group we've seen in years past?
Well, I think it always takes a little time. I mean, they were so dominant early in the year that it made everything look like it's just, same as usual. But the difference is, like, Wilkes is coming over as D coordinator. They usually hire from within. And so the same structure. Now, the foundation is still the same. Shanahan believes that, and they should, because it's a great system. But Wilkes then has to learn the players, and he's doing that. And he's done really an outstanding job. But he's also going through this little adversity here where now he might have to change up, because this is the time of year that defenses have enough tape, or offenses, either one, and they start to get your tendencies. And now on tape, you see teams attack them a certain way. And so you're seeing the same teams attack them and their rules, and they're breaking them down. Now it'll be up to Wilkes and the staff to come in here and say, all right, now the third phase of the season, it goes to, if you play them in, fours, quarters, this is that next step where it's like, we've got to now adjust from what we've been doing so that way our tendencies aren't getting exposed.
In-season adjustments. The time is now as we near the halfway mark. Tony Romo, appreciate the time as always, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.